The first one I want to show you is this here. Let's do this one. Okay. You have a lot of different tools out there that are free, that are wonderful tools to use. One of them is Google Earth. Okay. Now you may have teachers, or you may know of teachers that use Google Earth already. I think Google Earth is really, really wonderful because it provides a way for teachers to use the world to help students understand what the world is all about. Okay. And it's free, which is the best part. All right. So I'm going to talk to you about something called math walks. And this idea was proposed by a math professor called Ron Lancaster. He's a really great professor. And what he does with his students is he actually takes them down the city block. And as they're walking down the city block, he asks the students to pick out things that they see and think of mathematics that are, in the things they see. So for example, as they're walking down the street, they may see tile work, right? And so what kind of mathematics is going on? And so the kids have to think about questions that relate to that. Now, it's a really wonderful concept. The only problem is that when it's within the context of a classroom, it can be very difficult to do, because taking 30 kids out to the street is very, very hard, right? But we can do this virtually. And so let me show you what this looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Google Earth again. And I'm going to take you to where I live, okay? And we're going to take a stroll down the street, okay? Except we're going to do this virtually. So here's where I live, down here. And as we're walking down the street, we're going to look at different things that have different types of mathematics behind them, okay? So here's the first. So as you're walking down the street, I notice that there's a building here, and you see these windows? They have an odd shape. Well, remember when we were talking about area? This is a really wonderful place for students to do something like this. Simply ask themselves, well, what is the area of that shape? Okay? And they can put in numbers that they want, or they can use a real-life scale, because now you have to use proportions. Okay? And you can come up with the mathematics behind this. And oh, by the way, we didn't talk about shapes that have curves in them. What happens then? And we can keep going. Across the street, there's this place to eat pizza. And notice these little curves here. These are really wonderful because in mathematics, right, we can ask a question like, are these two curves symmetrical? And if you're teaching high math, you can ask them, what function do you think most closely defines these pair of curves? Okay? Bless you. You can walk down the street some more, okay? And there's another restaurant that has another cool shaped entrance. This little entrance here. And one of the questions we can ask is, if we're working in 2 dimensions, what's the area of the semicircle? If we're working in 3 dimensions, what's the volume of the hemisphere? You see? All the while, you're relating this to what they see each and every day. So now all of a sudden, instead of for homework saying to the students, hey, I want you to go home and in your book or your workbook, do this worksheet, right? You can say to them, when you go home tonight, I want you to just go around your neighborhood maybe, okay? And since they all carry phones anyway, right? Say videotape yourself finding 2 things that have mathematical meaning on what we just did today, okay? And so you do that and they can do something like this. So here we have a walk. So we're going to walk down the street a little bit more, right to about here. And there's this building, and they're selling these lofts, these condos, okay, these flats. And so one of the questions that I could use, and I use my phone to do this, is for 1 bedroom, it's 1,100 square feet. That's how big it is. And 2 bedrooms is 1,500 square feet. So one question I could ask is, which is the better buy, right? Which one is better for me? And so you can see here that using your phone, you can actually record yourself teaching this, not just to other
teachers. So here's a cool question. Here's some residential lofts, and for 1 bedroom you get 1,100 square feet. 2 bedrooms you get 1,500 square feet. So if the price of these was say 150,000 and the other one was 200,000, which one would be the better buy? Let's see if we can figure that out. Check out the law.
All right. So then you can use Inspire
So this hopefully will
to
be
teach
simple computation. what we want to do
so
is
there's a
find out
video
how
record
much
feature.
we're actually
Record
paying per
yourself
square
through the
foot.
video.
So to do that, I'm simply going to take the...
Now the beautiful part about this is now you have what we call a reusable learning object. In other words, a digital object that you can use any which way you want. Because you don't just have to use this for homework. You can use this for reteaching. What if you have students that maybe need more help with the lesson you just taught? You have things like this that they can look at that other students have created, right? That give them perspective on how that particular mathematics is done. Okay, so now you're talking about mathematics being more social, okay, amongst students. So it's not always the teacher. So that's one way. Let me show you one last way in which we can do this. Do you guys play Angry Birds? Yeah? Angry Birds is a game that kids love, right? And basically, if you haven't played it before, the premise of the game is really simple. Let me see if I can play it for you. What you do is you have these little birds and you have these pigs, right? And the birds are angry because the pigs stole their eggs, okay? Now this game, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It was made by 3 guys from Finland, I believe, or Denmark, one of the Scandinavian countries. It's the most popular game in the world, okay? In about 5 years' time, it'll be the most popular game ever, okay? Ever. Which is it's a big deal because it hasn't been around very long, okay? These guys are now gazillionaires. They're very, very wealthy. And it's because it's an addictive game. So we're gonna play this real quick. So here's the first level, okay? So this is the premise, right? Where are the eggs? And then these little guys have eaten the eggs, okay? And so we're gonna figure out how to get rid of these guys, all right? So when you look at this at first, you're asking yourself, this is just a game. So I'm going to take this little guy, right? And I knock him down, I kill him, right? And I get points. And I get extra points if I don't use these guys. And then it gives me a rating. So that wasn't very good, right? I should have done better. All right. So now if we look at this game, we say, okay, so what, right? How is that going to help my kids learn math? Well, I want to show you a different program here that I would recommend for all your math teachers and for all your science teachers at that. This program here is called Tracker, and it's free. Okay, it's an open source program. Let me make sure I can open it up for you. Okay. And what we're going to do with Tracker is we're going to take some of the things you just saw and we're going to delve into some mathematics real quick. Okay, so what I've done, my friends, is I have here a file that I got from YouTube, and let me find it for you in here. Open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go down to my Tracker folder, and there's Angry Birds, and I'm going to open this little guy up. Okay. And so I went to YouTube and I got a video of someone playing that game, which is this video here. Now Tracker allows me to track the movement of things on video. So you know what I'm going to track the movement of? I'm going to track the movement of the bird, because I want to see if there's some mathematics behind it, right? So when I play this, you can see here that I have 2 representations of what's going on here. I have a graph and I have a table. And as you can see, it tracks the movement of the bird. It draws the graph, and it gives me a table. And so now I can ask my students, this is X, okay? This thing here, compared to time, what do you notice about the graph, right? Oh, it's a straight line. Well, why is it a straight line? Now that's that graph. Does that make sense? Does it make sense that it's parabolic? And if you wanted to delve even deeper into this, you can actually analyze this data right over here, okay? And I can do a fit curve here, okay? Which won't make my sense. It doesn't make sense here, but look at these values. I can start attaching real life values to this to see if it makes sense. And that's just from the game. You can do this with all sorts of games. And it doesn't have to be games, because some students don't like games, some students like to play sports, right? So one of the things I could do is I could do something like this, whereby I'm not using Angry Birds. What I'm going to use instead is I'm going to use some sports. So this is my brother. He happens to like to play basketball. And so what we're going to do is we're going to track the movement of the ball, okay, to see what a successful free throw looks like. So here's him shooting the ball, okay, and as he shoots it, we track that movement, and now I have that graph again, okay? And notice something peculiar happened here. But if I change this to y, what kind of graph do you think I'll get? Yeah, does that make sense? Does it make sense that this parabola is facing down as opposed to up? And why does that happen? Okay? Not only that, but I can add values here. I know that it's 15 feet from the free throw line to the basket, and because I attach values to this, now I can go up here, and I see here that if he gets the ball, the arc of the ball above 12 feet, right, with a certain trajectory, he's going to be successful every time. Okay? So now you have mathematics behind something like sports. You can do this with anything. You can do this with football. You can do this with rugby when you're throwing or kicking balls. Any type of sport that you can think of, but it's a different way for them to look at mathematics that's more meaningful and more authentic than simply reading words from a book. Make sense? And that's the power of these particular tools, is that it allows us to combine all of these different things, right, to help students deepen their understanding of the mathematics that's all around them. Okay? And so with that, I'm going to end there because I think my time is up. But thank you so much for sitting in and participating. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, when you move the squares, the two squares, and you make the test.
Yes, ma'am.
You is it drop? No.
You can say
like this,
Spanish.
and they stay perfectly.
Yes. I know what you're saying. Yeah, let me show you. These right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go like that,
Yeah.
they stay perfect? Okay,
Yeah.
that's, you want me to show you how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want.
So, yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do is I'll make a new page. Oops. Okay, so the first thing I do is turn on the grid. Okay. And then I'm going to use my shapes tool. I'm going to create a square. Like that. And on this square, I'm going to go to my properties. Tell me if I'm going too fast, by the way, I'll slow down. Okay, so in the properties. Okay, in the properties, you don't have to worry about any of this. Right here where it says descriptors. Okay, descriptors. Right here, can snap. True. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you unselect everything, so it's just a page. You go back and you have different options. You see where it says grid here, and it says allow snap. Make that true. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the grid off.
You duplicate this one and...
Yeah, you can duplicate it a million times. Yeah. So I'm just going to, instead of making it visible, I'm going to turn it off. And then let's just do drag copy. And so as I drag, they all snap. Just like that.
Okay.
And that's it. You have to get 4.2. You have to make sure you get that first. And I'll show you where the directions that you can download. Okay. But when you create your shape, okay, under File, you see Export. Okay, you're going to export, and then oops, File, Export, and it's going to be this first option here. Okay. Dynamic worksheet. Okay. You're going to click on that, and you're going to go here. Okay, so dynamic worksheet here. And the last thing is click advance, and this is the option you want. Okay, that's the option you want. So I have directions for you here.